Hi everybody, we're going to start a quick live video here and I'll wait a few moments to see if anybody shows up for us live, but then of course you'll get a chance to watch the tape after the fact. And it's good timing too, because for at least in Southern California and much of the country, temperatures are ridiculous, like way above normal. Super hot outside. So we're going to say something about why it is that you slow down during the heat. We're actually going to have you take a look at, from a scientific perspective, why you slow down, but then also start to see why you slow down or what stops you even when it's not hot outside. Hi, I'm Pat Finn from the Rubicon Results Institute, and we look at what it takes to produce radical results in life, and then what stops you from operating at that peak performance. So some of it's obvious. We know we slow down in the heat, and as we get a chance to do this, I'll start up here in just a few moments, see if anybody else joins us, and I'll share with you not only scientifically why your brain slows down your body during the heat, so you've got a good excuse for not being fully in action and holding back from those projects that you've been meaning to do this weekend, but I'm also going to help you look at why you slow down in life regardless of what the temperature is outside. So we'll see if anybody else joins us here live on this Saturday night in a few moments. Otherwise, we'll have that tape available for people to watch at any time. So thanks to people who are joining us. Good to see you, Paul. And I know there's others along the way here, so great to have you watching what we're creating live video-wise. And Anicia is with us, and she has that question: heat drains energy. Yes, and she's in Phoenix, Arizona, so she should really know what the heat is all about. Popping on here live without any warning, because I just wanted to share this with you before the day ended on Saturday for a couple of reasons. One is I promised the current team that we have for our Rubicon Results Institute that I would do 4 live Facebook broadcasts, 4 Facebook Lives before this coming Wednesday's team meeting. And I've done 0 so far, none whatsoever. So this is a little bit of because I said I would, I'm going to do it, which is much like our team's work. People make promises of something. Sometimes it's ridiculous, unreasonable promises, stretch promises. And because they promised the rest of the team they would do it, they do it. And they also, of course, have accountability partners on a day-to-day basis. So I'm fulfilling on a promise right now, but I'm also promising you that you'll get some value out of being part of all of this. So Christine and Tom, welcome you guys. We'll start up here in just a second. We'll give see if there's anybody else who's out there who wants to jump in. And as we do, we'll, of course, this tape will be available for people after the fact. So first of all, I hope you're staying cool and staying safe in the heat. And I know it's difficult when you're dealing with heat to move the action forward, to be in action, to start a project. You just don't feel like it. You're so lethargic. And that's not a surprise. Like, there've been so many studies over the years with different groups to discover what actually happens. For example, they've studied groups of students. One group of students was in an air-conditioned dorm at 72 degrees, the other group of students non-air-conditioned dorm at 80 degrees. And as they did the study, what they discovered is the people that were in the non-air-conditioned building performed way worse on any tests. In fact, simple arithmetic tests, simple math tests, they scored 13% lower than the kids in the air-conditioned building. They also discovered that the kids that were in the heated building were moved much slower in terms of their reaction time, 9% slower in their reaction time. So it gives you a sense of what you're dealing with is real. They've done these studies in the workplace where they've discovered that if the temperature's at 72 degrees, it's peak performance for people at work. As soon as the temperature starts to go up, the performance level starts to come down. In fact, if you get to the mid 80s, it's almost 10% Going. Okay, very good. So that's not a surprise to you, I'm sure. It's like, yeah, of course, it's hot. It seems like it drains energy. Your body starts to slow down. What you may be surprised by is what's really happening in your body to slow you down. See, what has been studied is that your brain, once it anticipates that your body is starting to get hot, it will instantly start to put the brakes on your systems. It will intentionally start to slow you down in anticipation of the heat. And it's slowing you down to protect important body parts or mechanisms. So it's really there to make sure that you don't have a system failure when it comes to your muscles or your heart or even your brain. But it's doing that in anticipation of the heat. So in other words, it's not the heat itself that's making that happen. It's your brain anticipating what the heat could do to your body, so it starts to slow you down. So it's one more way that there's this evidence that what's happening for you in this moment, in this present moment, is much more affected by what you expect to happen in the future, because that's what your brain is doing with you at that point. It's predicting what could happen, and as a result, it's starting to slow you down. So you've got a good excuse in the heat to take it easy and not push yourself too hard. And of course, too much heat and exertion outside can be dangerous. But what I want you to get is the heat's going to end, and maybe you being lethargic and being slow and procrastinating won't. In other words, people in life are resisting moving forward, particularly at these uncertain times. So I want to share with you that what we create is something called the CRAP. It stands for Conditioned Resistance and Procrastination. And what we study is that you are conditioned. You literally have neural patterns that are conditioned to slow you down and have you resist life based on some future that you might be expecting out there. But it's slowing you down in life, and as a result, it seems like, it feels like it's a true force. You think about something that you don't want to do, that you are expecting it to be a difficult task, or some way that you might get rejected, or some way that there might be failure, or something that seems like it's going to be extra hard work. And then all of a sudden you find yourself lethargic, similar to being in the heat. You find yourself slowed down. You find yourself like it's almost like a force that's happening to you. But it's happening because you're letting it happen for yourself. And what we start to look at is how do you break through that conditioned resistance and procrastination, the CRAP. So how do you cut the crap? How do you move forward and not let that stop you whatsoever in life? And the opportunity is part of what we create in our team, is actually get to the point where you have zero resistance. And then there's freedom. See, with resistance, there's suffering. Dan McMillan in The Way of the Peaceful Warrior said, all suffering is a result of resistance. So I want you to consider, if you could take away your resistance in life and just be free to act on what's important to you in life rather than resisting, there'd be a lot less suffering, and certainly you'd be producing a lot more results. So I wanted to share that with you because we have a couple of Rubicon teams coming up. These are mastermind teams of 12 people where we hold you to account to produce some radical result in life, something like that's off the charts. And if you did that, it would be the most exciting thing ever for you. And we put you in a structure where you really have no choice but to produce that result, because we're supporting you every step in the way on what it takes to operate at peak performance and what gets in the way of your peak performance. And we help you work together with the rest of the team to produce that kind of result. A couple of teams coming up. One is product oriented. If you have a product idea, you get to be on a team where you're working with myself and an extraordinary consultant in the world of products, Michael Villalta, who will help walk you through from idea to having it out in the world, from really a concept to creation, to taking it out of your head and getting it out into the world. If you have a product idea, make sure you get in touch with me about that. And then there's the General Rubicon, that is a mastermind team of people who are ready to produce extraordinary results in life, like to be off the charts in producing results in life. We call them radical results. And if that's where you're at, or at least considering it, like maybe you have a project to start, something to do with starting a business, upping the level of business for you, altering your finances, something that has to do with relationships, something that might have to do with your well-being, whatever that is, if you're ready to actually have the most productive weeks of your life, literally the most productive 10 weeks of your life, then I would just love to talk to you about it. In fact, what I've done is created a free coaching call where you get a chance to talk one-on-one with me, and we can really explore what would be the radical result for you in life. What would it be? Because sometimes as adults, we're not always right there with what the dream is. We're so good at settling for the way things are right now that it's sometimes difficult to look beyond that. I'll help you see what the dream is and tell you a little bit more about our Rubicon Results team. So if you're interested in being part of it, you'll have the opportunity to do that, but there's no obligation, there's no pressure whatsoever. It is just going to be about how extraordinary your life could be, how amazing you are, how you get in your own way sometimes, and we'll start to distinguish that and give you the opportunity to look at whether you wanted to create something like that for yourself. So the way to get in touch with me or schedule one of those free, no obligation 45-minute calls is you just go to radicalresultcall.com. Radicalresultcall.com. Just obviously put them all together because it's a URL. Radicalresultcall.com. And when you go to that, you'll get a chance to actually see my calendar, and you'll be able to schedule something for yourself. So radicalresultscall.com. It's a S on results. So radicalresultscall.com. And if you go there, you get the calendar, you put in a time, and then we'll take 45 minutes to really look for you on what's up and what could be up in life. Thank you for tuning into the live. There's just so many people's names that I recognize along here, old friends and relatives, I guess, along the way. So it's great to have you tune in live. And if you're watching the tape, thank you for watching that also. And would love to have the chance to work with you, because if you're up to something or ready to be up to something. Like sometimes it's like, I know that I'm not operating consistent with what's possible for me in life. And so we start to look at what would that be? And I'd love to support you with that. So radicalresultscall.com. Thank you for watching this, you guys.